and welcome to ECCB Connects. In this program, we bring you ECCB in action, a snapshot of the work the ECCB executed over the period October to December 2025 as we continue the work of transforming the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union through innovation and collective action. Stay connected. We'll continue in a moment. ECCB Connects now has a WhatsApp channel. Follow us and stay in the loop with our latest videos, photos, and updates. It's simple. Just search for ECCB Connects in your WhatsApp Updates tab and get connected with all things ECCB. Thanks for staying connected with us. During the last quarter of 2025, the ECCB made significant progress on several of its strategic objectives. In this edition of ECCB in Action, we share with you updates on the establishment of the Office of Financial Conduct and Inclusion, where we are with the implementation of the Eastern Caribbean Credit Bureau, launch of the new retail bond, and a drafting of the ECCU Financial Inclusion and Literacy Strategy. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is making steady progress towards the establishment of the Office of Financial Conduct and Inclusion. This office will be responsible for regulating matters relating to financial consumer protection and business conduct for financial institutions licensed under the Banking Act. In short, the Office of Financial Conduct and Inclusion will help to ensure that financial institutions which operate within the currency union are competitive and fair, thus giving all consumers the best treatment and services, as well as clear and timely information. It will also help to protect consumers from unethical business practices. Throughout the year, the ECCB met with various groups to garner support and feedback and to raise awareness of the actions and initiatives currently under implementation. Those in-country engagements wrapped up with sessions in Montserrat and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Chief Director Policy Dr. Tracy Polius has more.
The objective was to have consumers know their rights under the Banking Amendment Bill 2024 and also for them to have knowledge of the obligations and the duties of financial institutions under the amendments to the Banking Act. We consulted with a range of stakeholders, including ministries of finance, attorneys general, associations of and for the disabled, the National Youth Councils, consumer protection agencies, financial intelligence authorities, ministries of consumer affairs, as well as ministries of education, among other stakeholders. We discussed during those consultations the content of the Banking Amendment Bill 2024. We discussed with stakeholders their rights. We discussed with stakeholders the codes of conduct that will be implemented. We also discussed the proposed procedures for dealing with complaints. And there is a strong procedure for handling complaints. You have 3 levels where you go to your bank first and then you channel it to the ECCB, and if it's not addressed, there's a dispute resolution commission, and if the customer is still not satisfied, there is redress at the High Court. So you could go to the High Court outside of this dispute resolution procedure. We discussed also the situations that customers might have where they may have complaints and how they could potentially handle it. And we heard generally from the public. We listened quite a bit at the complaints that customers might have, the situations that might cause the conflict with the LFIs, and the potential solutions.
The Regional Government Securities Market, in partnership with the ECCB, launched a new retail bond initiative in October 2025. That initiative now makes government securities more accessible to everyday citizens across the ECCU. That is, putting investment opportunities directly within the reach of households. The key features of the new retail bond are: any individual who meets the basic requirements, such as identification and compliance with financial regulations, may invest through a licensed broker. The minimum investment amount is $500 with increments of $100. This compares with the previous minimum investment amount of $5,000 with increments of $1,000. And the interest rate is 4.25% annually. The government of Grenada was the first member country to issue a bond. Fiscal and debt specialist Juletta Edinburgh says while the bond was not fully subscribed, of the 350 people who invested, 93% were new investors.
At the close of the bond, on the 5th of December, 4.3 million was subscribed of the 5 million that was being raised. So the bond was not fully subscribed, but the objective of the bond was not financing per se, but rather to enhance financial literacy and financial inclusion among the citizens and residents of the ECCU, and to provide citizens an opportunity for investment, because what we had noted on the market that only 1.5% of individuals had invested on the market, and so the market was largely monopolized by institutional investors. And so the success that we've noted for this first retail bond is that 350 persons across the ECCU have invested in the bond. Of that 350 persons, 326 thereabout were new investors. And so what that means is that prior to this retail bond, you had about 600 persons who had invested on the market in its 23 years of operation. And in this first pilot bond that we tested, we had 326 new investors. What is also a success story in this retail insurance is that of the persons who invested, the new persons, 157 of those who had investments below the $5,000, which is the current minimum investment amount on the market. And so without this retail bond, it means those 157 persons would have been excluded from the market. And so although the bond was undersubscribed, it achieved its objective of bringing investment opportunities to individuals, bringing awareness. We had a lot of interest in the bond. Even after the closure of the bond, we have had interest from persons indicating that they want to invest in the bond. And so where are we now? We've had that initial one. The second country that has agreed to pilot the retail bond is the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so we are now working with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis to issue the second retail bond.
We now move on to the ECCU Credit Bureau. During the review period, coordination between the ECCB and Everydata ECCU Limited intensified with focused stakeholder engagements across commercial banks, credit unions, and social security institutions to resolve data sharing, onboarding, and operational readiness challenges. Since the project went live in Antigua and Barbuda in 2024, 5 ECCB member countries officially went into production on the Credit Bureau system, marking a significant expansion of regional credit reporting coverage. This year, the Credit Bureau is also expected to roll out a consumer application which will allow individuals to register, securely access their credit reports, review basic personal and credit information to ensure accuracy, and submit queries where discrepancies are identified. The ECCB has partnered with the United Nations Capital Development Fund to prepare the draft ECCU Financial Inclusion and Literacy Strategy. The strategy is being developed to address gaps in how people and businesses access and use financial services across the currency union. It also seeks to respond to the growing use of digital financial services and the need to ensure that all citizens and businesses can participate in the financial system safely and confidently. But what does the strategy mean for the people of the ECCU? Project Officer in the Projects and Technical Assistance Governor's Office, Shawnette Shaw Archibald, explains.
At its core, the strategy is really about making everyday financial life easier for individuals and businesses. So individuals would see benefits such as improved access to credit, savings, and even investment opportunities, and digital financial payment tools. Businesses, on the other hand, would see benefits such as better support to go digital, better support or even access to financing, and to grow their business with confidence. So overall, the strategy is really about helping people to feel more confident and comfortable while using financial services and understanding and building trust with the financial system.
The ECCB has been working with key groups across the ECCU to ensure the financial inclusion and literacy strategy meets the needs of the people of the currency union.
From the beginning, the strategy was shaped around listening to the people that it's about to serve. And so we've partnered with the United Nations Capital Development Fund, who has supported us in drafting the strategy. We've also met with national representatives who has given us information on a national level. We've also met with fintech companies such as JAD in St. Kitts. We've also met with Penny Pinch in St. Lucia and Sarah in Montserrat. We've also met with all the financial institutions and the credit unions and of course other important stakeholders. So overall, we wanted to make sure that their feedback and their real-life experiences really shape and guide how we would fill the gaps to really resolve the problems for the people of our currency union.
Now to stakeholder engagements. Over the period October to December 2025, the ECCB held several networking meetings, including Meeting of Regulatory Oversight Committee. The theme of that engagement was transforming the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union through innovation. One of the key issues addressed was proposed amendment of the Virtual Asset Business Act. The ECCB also convened the 62nd meeting with ECCU Directors of Social Security Systems, under the theme, New Development Considerations for Social Protection in the ECCU. One of the presentations focused on universal health coverage, primary care, and enhanced social protection. Embracing new technologies addressing challenges in public sector systems and architecture was the focus of the joint meeting of the Comptrollers of Inland Revenue and Customs. The meeting attendees received a presentation titled Beyond Compliance, Building a Cyber-Resilient Revenue and Customs Authority. Following the 7th Annual Licensed Financial Institutions Conference in November, the CEOs of LFIs which operate in the ECCU met for their 22nd meeting, guided by the theme, Delivering Results Through Collaborative Approach and Technological Advancement. Innovation with Trust, Advancing Digital Currency Confidence in the ECCU was among the items discussed. We conclude on a lighter note. The ECCB ended 2025 with its annual Staff Gala and Awards ceremony, where staff members were recognized for their dedication, exemplary service, achievements, and team spirit. 31 staff were honored for unbroken years of service spanning 5 to 30 years. Other staff members received the Star Award, which honors individuals who consistently embody the bank's mantra of service excellence, teamwork, truth-telling, accountability, and results. The ECCB Spirit Award recognized staff who best reflect the energy, values, and community spirit of the ECCB. The Impact Award was presented to individuals and teams who have developed, revised, or implemented a system, tool, process, initiative, or program within their departments or across the bank, which has had positive impact. The Governor's Award honored staff members for unwavering commitment, exemplary service, professionalism, responsiveness, and problem solving. The ECCB's annual Staff Gala and Awards ceremony serves as a celebration of service excellence and the bank's enduring commitment to fostering a supportive and high-performing workplace. Here's where we end this episode of ECCB Connects. In this program, we brought you ECCB in Action, a quarterly update on the ECCB's work in keeping with our mission to advance the good of the people of the ECCU by maintaining monetary and financial stability and promoting the growth and development of our people. We brought you an update on the establishment of the Office of Financial Conduct and Inclusion. The Office of Financial Conduct and Inclusion will help to ensure that financial institutions which operate within the currency union are competitive and fair, thus giving all consumers the best treatment and services, as well as clear and timely information. Launch of the new retail bond. That initiative now makes government securities more accessible to everyday citizens across the ECCU. That is, putting investment opportunities directly within the reach of households. The ECCU Credit Bureau. This year, the Credit Bureau is also expected to roll out a consumer application which will allow individuals to register, securely access their credit reports, review basic personal and credit information to ensure accuracy, and submit queries where discrepancies are identified. And drafting of the ECCU Financial Inclusion and Literacy Strategy. The strategy is being developed to address gaps in how people and businesses access and use financial services across the currency union. Thanks for watching. We invite you to join us next week for another program as we share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you.